let's do some color matching or color mixing. Who better to match colors than Van Gogh? Here we've got one of his beautiful pictures, and I've selected a few colors for us to try and match. So a blue, a yellow, and a green there. And they're not, you could think, oh, well, I'll just grab my yellow straight out the tub, job done. But actually, can you see it's quite a bit different. It's this Van Gogh's yellow here is being affected by some oranges, be a little bit less saturated. So there's a lot going on there that we need to try and get right if we're going to match these colors. Let's get a nice clean brush, clean water. Let's have a go at doing this blue. So first of all, when we're color matching, we want to start off with the color that we think is most like the color we're trying to get on our palette. I'm going to say this blue here, maybe this one there. These two are very similar. This one down here is a little bit warmer. Yeah, I'm going to say this blue in the middle that I've got is the most like that blue. But what's wrong with it? It's too dark, isn't it? So let's add some white. All right, add some white to that. Get it the same value. So there's a few questions we can ask. Is the color we want lighter or darker? And is the color we want warmer or cooler? And is the color we want higher saturation or lower saturation? So there we go, here's it. Here's a mix just with the white. I think I've gone a little bit too bright, so let's add a little bit more of this blue. See, trying to match to this. So yeah, so it's still a little bit bright, but it's also too blue, too kind of processed out of the tube. And I never really like using paint straight out of the tube. Maybe if I'm just being really expressive with color and I want some like kind of neon colors, but I like to make my own colors, right? And we're matching Van Gogh here. So let's add a very tiny bit of red and a very tiny bit of yellow to dull that color down. Okay, so we're adding orange, which is a complementary color, to blue. It's going a little bit green, so I'm going to add a little bit more red and a little bit more of the blue too. Let's now look. Let's do the quiz. Okay, so on here, it looks cooler. It looks brighter. This one looks a bit more red, a bit more affected by red. So let's bring some of that red in. And have a go, guys, at matching these colors yourself. Okay, just have a little play around. And it's very, you know, it's like fine tuning the colors. Little dabs, and even just being having control of how much paint you're picking up from these little wells of color. Okay, but here, you know, that's looking pretty near, I think. Oh, too much. That's looking pretty near this color that we're trying to match. Maybe there's still a little bit more, too much blue in it, but it's very close. Maybe a little bit more of this red and a bit grayer perhaps. Oh, I don't want to spend too much time, but can you see it's very kind of finicky, very minor adjustments. I wouldn't expect you, if you're doing a painting, I wouldn't expect you to pay this much attention to matching the colors, but I just want you to know how to do it if you want to. The colors are going to dry darker. And if you're using watercolors, they'll dry lighter. And with oils, it's a lot better because the oil kind of keeps the paint wet, okay? And that glossy finish stays the same, okay? And if you then varnish a painting, you'll get a lot of that darkness back. Right, let's have another go with this yellow. I'm just gonna change my brush. So what's it closest to? Maybe this cadmium yellow. But look at that, it's way too bright, isn't it? Okay, so what's opposite yellow? Purple. So let's mix blue and red. Let's make a purple. Okay, and then just a very minute amount into our mixture. Just to give it a little bit of earthy feel and take away some of that saturation. I've gone too much, so I'm trying to bring some more yellow back in. A little bit of white to increase the value. There you go. So that's probably near enough. I could probably be a little bit darker, but I think that's near enough. So what I did there, I used the cadmium yellow that was closest to what it was, and I just put in red and purple. I made a red and blue, made a purple, okay, opposite the color wheel. And that's just taken away some of that brightness and that glow. What would I start with, do you think? Viridian is very, very cool green. So let's take some yellow into it. What's opposite green? Red. So we can add a little bit of red to mute it down. Something like that. A little bit of white because the value is a little bit lighter. Okay, maybe I feel like there's a little bit more blue in it, just slight touch, a bit more blue. I don't know, maybe not. But yeah, there we go. So we've started with this Viridian, very kind of sickly, very, very strong green, and we've muted it down, and we've created something a little bit more similar to that palette. So guys, I hope that helps with color mixing. I just want to say the reason why we put the colors in this order is because it's easiest for us to know how to make more vibrant colors. If I wanted to make a vibrant green, I would use the cool yellow and the cool blue, okay, and that's going to make a much stronger green. Need to use a lot more yellow. I'm going to make a much stronger kind of vibrant green than if I was to use the colors that are further away. Okay, so let's use the warm blue and the warm yellow, and it's going to make that green that we make is going to be a little bit less intense, a little bit less bright or saturated. So keeping them in this order is a really good way to kind of keep your, you don't have to think about it then. You can just mix the ones that are the closest together and you're going to get the brightest color. Okay, so there we go. Let's mix the warm yellow and the warm blue, and we're going to get a less intense green. Can you see that? It's almost like murky, like a camouflage green, like something sickly. So there's a real big difference here. Mixing things closer is going to produce a brighter color. Right, yeah, so put them in the rainbow and you'll create nice bright colors.
That's right. It's time for a jigsaw club.